once again. Today I'm going to show you how I made this little dormouse. It's a sleeping mouse, and I was just googling some pictures and I really found this really cute mouse, and it's quite small, and to make it a special gift I've put it in a tin. So first I measured the tins, it was around 6 centimeters, so I have to make something smaller. So these are the pictures of the dormouse that I'm using as reference, and I've taken fawn colored cordial slivers. I was trying to roll it in, but it didn't work, so I've used the back of a paintbrush and roll it tightly, and I've given it a little point where it's going to be the nose and the mouth of the mouse. And this way it's easier to shape because you've got the shape of the head, and then you can just bend it. So I'm going to add more wool, and I'm going to shape it as I go along. I'm going to add wool where I think is appropriate. So this is the tip, the nose and the mouth area. And if you have got the reference picture in front of you, it's easier. And you have to keep measuring that it doesn't make it go out of the box. So I'm adding more wool to the body, and I'm bending it as I felt, so it stays in shape of a sleeping mouse with its head bended down its body. So it's like curled up. So if you felt while you're holding it down, it stays in shape. So you're just thinking where the eyes are gonna be. I'm going to felt it down, and I keep seeing the box I have to put it in, the tin box, and the body has to be more rounded, so I'm putting more wool around the body. While you're felting it, you have to determine where the eyes are going to be, as the eyes are going to be closed, so don't need to put in the plastic eyes. Now I'm adding more wool to the head part. And I'm still bending it down so it looks curled up. I'm using my multi-tool to speed things up. And carded wool is really easy and faster to felt. This is the tip of the nose. The eyes are going to be here. It can still get more bigger, so I'm adding more wool. It looks like a curled up worm at this point, but it's going to take shape. So I'm felting it down and making the body a bit firm. I've added more wool and made it rounder. Now I'm going to add the limbs. Just rolled some wool and made the legs, the hind legs. In the same way I'm going to make the forelegs nor the hands. Just a little wool. And I've just rolled it into shape. Now I'm going to make the tiny hands. So I'm using a toothpick and some pink wool and really tiny shred. I've rolled it and I'm felting it down to make a really tiny finger. And you have to use very little wool, otherwise you'll get really big hands. So this is a very tiny finger and it has fluff at the end, like you have to roll only what you need and let the rest of it stay long, because we're going to fold it at the end and make a hand out of it. So rolling it between your palms helps make it smoother. I've made 4 fingers and the fluff. I'm rolling it to make the palm and attaching them with the fluff that was left over. You can just roll it up and felt it so there's no wire in it, and still managed to make a tiny hand. Adding more wool to make the palm, and you can make them as smaller as you want. So I'm felting the sides and this joins them. And what you can do is you can make these tiny hands first and attach them to the limbs and then attach them to the body, because when I did it I found it more difficult to attach them to the body after I had attached the limbs. So you can do it before. As I told you, I'm self-taught and every project that I do is an experiment and it's for learning. So this was the first Dormouse that I've ever made. I'm pleased with the results, so I'm sharing it with you. For the lower limbs, I kept them a bit longer, the feet. Now attaching them. With your needle you can give it shape and you can add more wool to cover the joint. I'm just opening up the fluff and attaching the little foot. And if they look a bit bigger, you can just felt them down and add a little bit of wool around it to give it the shape of the foot. So as you can see, the Dormouse has really tiny ears. So making small ears with the brown carded wool. And this is a really nice felting mat I got from Etsy. It's from Annie's hand felted creations. I really like it. For the years, I just rolled it up, rubbed it between my palms, and to give them the really nice crisp edge, I'm going to iron them with my hair iron. It really helps and gives a really good result if you iron it out. I've just got the extra fluff coming out of it, so I've got a crisp edge. Now I'm attaching the ears to the head. With the ears attached, I'm using some darker wool to cover the body where I want the darker shades of the fur, because I'm going to use the reverse needle on it to give it a fuzzy look. But if you don't want to give it a fuzzy look, you can give it a plain look as well. But I'm just adding the dark brown areas where I want the shades to be. Little around the eyes. And then the main color, it's lighter brown, so I'm going to cover the whole mouse with it. First the tiny little pink nose, just roll some wool and I'm going to shape it as I attach it. As I'm adding brown color to it, it has begun to look more like a mouse. Covering the legs. For the eyes, I'm using black shreds of wool and rolled it into a thin line, and I'm felting it down in shape. You have to be sure where you're placing the eyes. They have to be symmetrical. So look at your piece from every angle. So this looked a bit crooked, so I'm gonna do it again. Right where it's supposed to be. So if you look at your piece from all the angles, then you'll know if you placed it on the right spot. And just cut off the extra bits instead of felting them in. Adding more wool around the eyes and the more wool for the cheeks as well. I'm adding some white color to the tummy part of it. And again, you can add this before you attach the limbs. So now it looks more like a mouse. Going around the arms. Now I'm making a tail, and I've seen in the pictures that the Dormouse has a thicker tail, not a really thin one. So I'm rolling some wool on a skewer, and then I'm felting it down so it makes a thicker tail. Rolling out things on a skewer or a toothpick makes things easier. So I'm just seeing how long I need the tail to be. Now I'm attaching it to the back because it's curled up right in front. See, I'm just giving it the finishing touches. And you can leave this part. I'm using my reverse needle to give it a fuzzy look. And as you can see, it's the reverse needle, what it does, it takes out the wool instead of felting it in, so it's taking out the core wool. That's why I used the fawn color, and where the dark areas are, you can see it's coming out. So if you don't want to give your mouse a fluffy look, you can leave this part, but I wanted to give it, and I'm just combing it down because it looks too fuzzy, and you can just give it a trim as well, so it looks kind of fluffy. And I felted it down around the eyes because I don't want the fluff over there. So it's good to have a reverse needle. So you can totally skip this part if you want. So I'm just giving it final touches, and it will fit nicely in the tin, as you will see. And thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe for more cute and small animals and stuff that I'm gonna do. And do join me on my journey of needle felting, just trimming off the extra bits. Thank you very much for watching.